The Reason for Believing, by Nameless Saint. As a Christian writer, I have spent much of my life exploring the deepest questions of human existence. One of the most pressing questions that I have encountered is the question of the existence of God. This question has been at the heart of many philosophical and theological debates throughout history, and it is a question that continues to be relevant today. One of the reasons that this question is so important is that it speaks to the deepest longings of the human heart. We all have a desire to know the truth about our existence, to understand the purpose of our lives, and to find meaning in the world around us. The question of the existence of God is central to these longings because it speaks to the fundamental nature of reality. There are many arguments that have been put forward for the existence of God, and I believe that each of these arguments has some validity. Some argue that the complexity and order of the universe point to the existence of a creator. Others point to the moral and ethical principles that seem to be built into the fabric of our existence, arguing that these principles point to a moral lawgiver. Still others point to the human experience of transcendence and the sense of awe and wonder that we feel when we contemplate the universe. But perhaps the most compelling argument for the existence of God is the argument from personal experience. Many people have had experiences that they describe as encounters with the divine. These experiences are often difficult to articulate, but they are powerful and transformative. They have the power to change lives and to bring people into a deeper relationship with God. Of course, there are many objections to the idea of God as well. Some argue that the presence of evil and suffering in the world is evidence against the existence of God. Others argue that the existence of multiple religions and conflicting beliefs is evidence that there is no one true God. Still, others argue that the idea of God is simply a human invention, a way of coping with the uncertainty and chaos of the world. In response to these objections, I believe that we must be honest about the limitations of our understanding. We cannot know everything, and we cannot expect to have all the answers to the deepest questions of human existence. But this does not mean that we should abandon the search for truth. Instead, we must continue to explore the evidence, to engage in thoughtful reflection, and to seek the guidance of the Holy Spirit. Ultimately, I believe that the Christian faith offers a compelling perspective on the question of the existence of God. It offers a way of understanding the world and our place in it that is both intellectually satisfying and emotionally fulfilling. It offers a hope that is rooted in the reality of God's love for us, a hope that can sustain us through even the darkest of times. If you are a seeker of truth and meaning, I encourage you to explore the question of the existence of God. Engage with the arguments, wrestle with the objections, and seek the guidance of the Holy Spirit. I believe that if you do, you will discover a depth and richness to life that you never knew was possible. Of course, exploring the question of the existence of God is not just an intellectual exercise. It is a deeply personal and spiritual journey. It requires us to be honest with ourselves and with God, to confront our doubts and fears, and to open ourselves up to the possibility of a divine encounter. One of the most important things that we can do in this journey is to seek the guidance of the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit is the presence of God in our lives, and it is through the Holy Spirit that we can experience the reality of God's love and grace. When we open ourselves up to the Holy Spirit, we allow God to work in our lives in ways that we cannot even imagine. One of the most powerful ways that the Holy Spirit works in our lives is through the transformation of our hearts and minds. As we engage with the arguments for the existence of God, as we wrestle with the objections, and as we seek the guidance of the Holy Spirit, we begin to see the world in a new way. We begin to see the beauty and complexity of creation, the depth of human experience, and the reality of God's love for us. This transformation is not just intellectual, but it is also emotional and spiritual. As we open ourselves up to the reality of God's love, we begin to experience a joy and peace that is not dependent on our circumstances. We begin to see the world in a new light, and we are filled with a sense of hope and purpose that is grounded in the reality of God's presence in our lives. If you enjoy watching this video, kindly consider subscribing to my channel. New content is posted daily. Thank you, and may God bless you.